preview. We've got the trench god himself, Parker Blake, in the building. We're going to go through what it's going to take for the Bengals to beat the Cardinals, and we're going to talk a little bit more. Coming up next on Blue Collar Bengals. That was a bad intro. I stink. But hey, it is what it is.
I need
Parker,
a sexy
my
picture.
guy. You need what?
I need a sexy picture like your co-host has on there. It's like a glamour shot he's got going on over there.
I don't have any like that either, man. It's just that picture that was used of me. I actually have a pretzel in my hand. It's just kind of cut out a little bit. That was at the draft party last year. I was just housing a pretzel, and some like professional photographer caught me with it. And now that's my Twitter picture. That's my show picture. That's everything. So
you should keep it in. You should keep the pretzel in. It's part of the vibe, you know.
It's one of those like long Bavarian.
Bavarian.
What is it?
Barbarian pretzels.
Barbarian pretzel. I think that's cooler than what it actually is. We got some chat members in here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Sir Boy brings up a good point. Like the stream. If you're watching the show, please hit like on the stream. I never ask for this stuff. I'm supposed to as the podcast host, right? We need likes, we need subscriptions, we need all. I forget to beg you guys to ask to do shit for me. But yeah, like the stream if you could. And then Darth Bengal, the man that gave me the coolest Houday necklace in the world, says, "What's up, fellas? Houday." So Ron is doing some like special Jason Bourne type shit or something. He's like on a plane, undisclosed location. It's a whole thing. So I needed to get my boy Parker to step in with us. So we're going to get a little bit smarter on this show because you're smarter than both of us. I was firing off the "we're live" tweet, so we should be good now. We got Houday Winger with a big Houday. This seems like a new commenter. I haven't seen you in here before, so welcome in. So on this show, we're going to talk about the Bengals traveling to Arizona, the Week 5 matchup, a must-win per Joe Burrow and per anybody that knows anything about football. And I'm going to drink Mountain Dew and get fatter. No free ads. I'm covering up the label.
You already said the name.
So that is kind of a free ad, isn't it? Shit.
You were close, though. The intent was there.
All right. Well, this thing's already off the rails. It's always off the rails with me and Ron. It might get a little bit worse because he's sometimes he reels me back in. So if you want to try to do that, go ahead. So
I'm just here to have a good time, man. We'll see what we get.
You've got the best picture in your backdrop in all of history. Jamar Chase flipping off Minka Fitzpatrick. We've got some sort of aquarium with some sort of animal in it.
That's my wife's gecko. It's my stepson. I always refer to him as my co-host back there.
Yeah. So if he wants to chime in, do you teach him O-line stuff? I'm stuttering over.
Funny enough, so when my girlfriend at the time moved in with me, she would close all the time. So I was home alone all the time, just watching football at night in season, and I bust out the gecko because I would just hang out and I'd be like, I gotta get familiar with this little guy if he's gonna be a part of my life, I suppose. So we would actually watch football together. And he's like, wow, like you pull him out and he runs all over the place, but if football's on the TV, he locks in. He loves football. So we watch ball together all the time.
Dude, that's kind of how my daughter is, honestly. Like she's crazy. She's running around, tearing the house up, smashing Cheerios into the couch and shit. But when football's on, she'll lock in. She's like that since she was a baby. So maybe we're onto something.
Maybe we're doing something right.
Before we get into this, if you don't know Parker, you should. An offensive line guru has a beautiful grading system where he goes through every week, grades the offensive line. You're an offensive line coach at the high school level too. I saw you on the was that the Max Preps Instagram with like 1.5 million followers, giving old Parker Blake a shout out?
Yeah, it's the second time that picture's been up there. I don't know where they found it, but I've been up there a couple times now. I guess we'll see where that takes me.
Guy's on his way. So your Twitter is at Parker Blake 60. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 60 at the end.
So if you're a new watcher here on the live stream or you're a new listener on Spotify, because Apple, no free ads. Apple, you stink. I submitted this show weeks ago and we're still not approved, and I don't know why. I haven't gotten an email. I haven't gotten a phone call. I haven't gotten anything. We're just not there. So, folks, I'm trying. I'm an Apple guy. I listen to podcasts on Apple. I can't even listen to my own shit. I had to make a Spotify account. But if you guys don't know Parker, at ParkerBlake60 on Twitter, great information. Guy will make you much smarter about the offensive line. If I have an offensive line question, there's like 2 timelines that I'll go to, and Parker's is first. And he's got cool hair. Look at this guy.
No, it's funny. I actually finally started doing my college stuff today. So we'll be posting some non-Bengals related clips, potentially Bengals related clips, I suppose, of some college prospects coming up. Started that process today because that takes a lot of time, and I'm going to get started now.
I can't imagine, and that's why I am just a dumbass and just speak from a very high surface level of things. I mean, I know football, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to be going through anybody's tape and making any grades or any of that. That's far above my head. So I'm glad to have you on here, man. I appreciate you filling in while Ron's doing ninja stuff or whatever he's doing. Let's talk a little bit about the matchup. And this is probably an area that you've looked into a little bit. If I'm correct, the Cardinals have the 6th ranked rushing offense in the NFL. And when you have a running offense, when you have a rushing offense that's top 10 in the NFL, you probably have a pretty good offensive line. So I'm sure that's going to be about it. The Bengals defense, run defense, I think is 30. Am I mistaken?
It's low. It's bottom quarter for sure. Like for sure.
So I think that's where the game's going to start because Arizona is by no means an easy win, like everybody kind of thought it would be. I think that their organization is actively trying to lose, but players and coaches don't tank. They beat Dallas. They played San Francisco pretty damn tough last week, so that's 2 very good defenses that they hung with. And the Bengals offense looks like hot liquid shit right now, so I don't think they could beat anybody in the NFL if that's the offense that we're going to see. So when you look at this game, do you think the Bengals defense can stop the Cardinals rushing attack?
I mean, you bring up a great point that we both talked about coming into the season, right? Where front offices tank, coaches and players have wages to earn and jobs to keep and jobs to earn. They're never going to tank. And this Cardinals team looks freaking scrappy, bro. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a really competitive game. Hopefully a competitive game. Hopefully we don't get run out the building. And honestly, I'm going to the game, and hopefully I'm going to see you there. You keep dodging my questions, Drew. You're going to be in Arizona this weekend. I just know it.
I'm not. There's a chance that I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan on Saturday for the Michigan game if the babysitter situation lines up. But it is confirmed at this point now I will not be in Arizona, unfortunately, on Sunday.
This guy. But I
wanted to see the stadium.
That's honestly, like, I got the tickets and I saw how cheap they were just because it was preseason and everyone expected the Cardinals to go 0-17. So we got some pretty good tickets. And honestly, we've been talking the whole time we've been talking is just like, I'm excited to see this dope ass stadium, bro. It's going to be cool.
That's kind of where I'm at. 17 Sun says, "What's up, bitches? Who day? What's up, man?"
My man. But no, as far as the game goes, though, I really do think if I'm the Cardinals, I'm coming in. I'm going to try and grind clock because the more you can keep the Bengals offense off the field, the better. Because though it might not look great right now, you don't want to be that team that the Bengals get hot against, where you don't expect them to do that to you and they end up doing it. So I think everyone's just going to keep game playing like the offense is hot, keep them off the field. Their rushing offense is good. The Bengals rushing defense is less good. So that's where I think that's where it starts and that's where it ends, honestly.
And there's been all this talk about the offense, right? There's been, is it scheme? Is it Burrow? Is it Zach's play calling? Is it Callahan? Blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is, I know that they're leaving the Bengals defense on the field far too much, and that's going to negatively impact your defense. But 175 rushing yards or more in 3 out of 4 games just terrifies me going up against the Cardinals, who are going to run because Josh Dobbs is Josh Dobbs. He's played pretty well. He's made some plays here and there, but at the end of the day, he's Josh Dobbs. So they're going to try to run the ball. I feel like it's probably a week where Lou gets some things together and figured out, but the offense still has to help him out too.
Yeah. It's hard because there's a lot of things that go into what's going on with this offense right now, and I'm sure people have been talking about it for much longer than just this week. But when you really get into the tape and you watch the film, you get the different angles, you get the better angles. That's not just the broadcast. You see a lot of potential. You see a lot of opportunity. They're doing things right on the back end. It's just getting the core figured out. Making sure this O line's processing well, making sure Burrow's processing well, making sure Burrow feels comfortable with what you're running, making sure he feels comfortable with the reads he's supposed to make. I know everyone's really just hammering, the Bengals need to run the ball, but from an efficiency standpoint, that hasn't been going great either. Like nothing's really been clicking on this offense, even though you can see the yards per carry, the yards per attempt, and all. There's 15,000 metrics. Football's becoming baseball at this point, but at the end of the day, I mean, something's just not clicking with this offense. But like I said earlier, there's going to be a game, and none of us are going to expect it at this point, where this offense just catches fire. They have too much talent to just go a whole season looking like this. And I think we just all have to have the hope at this point where it's just like, is it going to be this week? Is it going to be this quarter? Is it going to be this drive? But it's going to click at some point. When it clicks, we're all going to take that big, deep sigh of relief. But it's just a matter of when, because they, like I said, you watch the film, they're doing stuff right. There's people available. There's stuff available. There's opportunity out there. So once they find it, can really lock in on it. This offense is going to be back to where it needs to be.
But the thing with that is we're running out of time for it to happen.
Yep.
We're in a 3-game hole now through the first quarter of the season. And I was watching, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I fucking hate this guy. I hate this guy, and I'm about to give him like a low-key shout-out. I was watching J.J. Watt on the Pat McAfee show. I fucking hate J.J. Watt. I hate the whole family, especially Derek, because who's a fullback in 2023? Grow up.
Derek.
But
get a real
he
job.
said that he said, I say that sitting in my house being fat, and he's making a bunch of money. But you break the season down in quarters. And if you look at the Bengals' first quarter of the season, the positive you can say is, well, they had a good game against the Rams on defense that one time, but they still only scored 19 points. So when you look at the first quarter of the season, it's been shit. It's terrible. So you pretty much threw that away. And now we're looking at a fact that you have to win these next 2 going into the bye. You have to. And Seattle just sacked Daniel Jones like 10 or 11 times or something like that. And I get the offensive line in New York is banged up, and there's a lot worse stuff going on.
Be careful. Evan Neal's going to yell at you.
Dude, you sent me that tweet. And the radio host was so like, the guy was like borderline unhinged. I should have saved it. We could have played it.
I love like the beginning of that, because he was like, oh yeah, we're going to, and then just ended up screaming.
Dude, it's crazy. Just straight up 0 to 100, as the kids would say. So you have to beat Arizona. You have to beat Seattle. And it's like I've said on this show multiple times, Burrow's out there, so it doesn't matter how healthy he is. You got to figure it out. And when Callahan answers these questions from the media, like, well, you're just not going to go out there and roll out a whole new style of offense, it seemed to lack self-awareness, because we know that you're not going to run out a whole new style of offense, but you've got to adjust something. Something isn't working. Whether that's running the ball more, I don't know. I'm conflicted when it comes to the run the ball more thing, because I know that the average looks good, but the efficiency still doesn't, because Mixon's been able to break a couple big ones to kind of raise the average. But when it comes to, it just seems like, I think it was Kelsey Conway asked Zach if Burrow was healthy enough to run the offense. And Zach just kind of laughed like it was the dumbest shit he had ever heard. Like, yeah, that's a weird question. Like, well, no, it's not, because the guy's clearly a shell of himself. Yeah. So if there's going to be a get-right game, it needs to be against the Cardinals, and you need to have momentum to bring back to Cincinnati to play Seattle. Because if you don't get those, I'm sorry, man, Burrow or no Burrow, whatever, the way that I've seen this offense for the first month of the season, I am scared to death of that trip to San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm not excited for that game at this point. Honestly, I wasn't excited about it in the offseason, and this has not made it much better. I do think it's funny. I think a lot of people are putting a lot more weight into this calf than there might be, and I think that's why you have people laughing at that question off. Because honestly, when you watch the film and like we're seeing these clips out of practice, which we all know hopefully mean nothing. But Burrow's moving fine. I think he looks good in he's dropping a lot more normally now. He looks a lot more comfortable back there. But I think what they're seeing, and that's where you hear all these coaches talk about execution all week, right? And I really want, once you really get into it, a lot of the issues they're running into or the reason stuff's not working. I mean, obviously you're gonna get those couple plays a game where a coach is just he's gonna tell his players like that one's on me. I wasn't ready. Zach Taylor came out and said that about a couple situations. But it's really just about Burrow. I mean, he brought it up himself. He's got to get the reps. He wants to be able to process at that high level. And to do that, even if you are an elite processor, you have to still get the live reps. You have to get the reps in practice. You can watch all the film you want. You and I can watch film for like 3 months straight, and we can go out there on an NFL field and still have no idea what the hell's going on. So he needs to get those reps in and get feeling comfortable and get himself right mentally and get that confidence. Because, you know, when he's going back onto the bench after a drive, even especially a 3-and-out, and they bust out the tablets. We've all seen the surfaces on the sideline. They're watching through the film. He's looking down there with his coaches, with himself, with his teammates, and he's seeing certain reads that he's missing. He's seeing opportunities that he's missed. I don't think we're going to see the scrambling Burrow that everyone wants to see very soon. That's probably just a confidence thing. But I think he's just getting frustrated with himself, and then we get late into games, and he feels like he has to make a big play, and he's just putting all this pressure on himself. And that's just a quarterback thing. I always joke, quarterbacks always have the biggest egos, but they're also the hardest on themselves. They're never going to think they're doing all the right things, and that's where when you early in this game, I would like to see them. I've been saying it for freaking 4 weeks now. But you want to see them come out early. Quick game, RPO, run the ball, let Burrow get in the rhythm, let Burrow feel like he's starting to see the field, let Burrow start feeling comfortable back there and like he has time, and you can generate time in the pocket with quick game. I'm sure a lot of people have talked about that. But that's what they should start the game off with. And then what I didn't like that they did last week, because that's what they did right at the beginning of the game. We saw that at the end of the game as well. But once you get through kind of that script of the easy stuff, trying to get him in a rhythm, don't go straight to just trying to take deep shots. Don't go straight to really trying to open them up. If it's working, let it work. And then you can put yourself in situations where you can really attack some of these defenses. And so I just really think a lot of it comes together. But honestly, my biggest concern with this team right now, because the offense is going to go how it goes. They haven't, under Burrow and Taylor, been successful in the first 4 to 5 games of the season. That hasn't been a high point for this team. I think we all know that. And I said in the preseason, in the offseason, don't come into this season with, those first seed hopes, because that needs to be the cherry on top. You need to go win the division, go win a wild card spot. Like that's the bar to entry, right? Because the first seed's great, but it also none of that matters if you just don't make it to the playoffs. So at this point in the season, we need to be of that mindset to just make it there, right? And then I feel like we can all feel confident in what this team can do once they get there.
The problem with that is, and not having the top seed expectations, is I made an entire video shitting on every team on our schedule and predicted a 1 seed. And I'm surprised that hasn't resurfaced more on Twitter with how much shit I get from people. So maybe I just put it back out in the universe. I'm not media. Just because I talked to Orlando Brown doesn't mean I'm not media. And I still didn't get the mic high enough. I'd have been like this. I get called short enough, and now I got to stand next to this 7-foot tall giant and try to hold a microphone up to him. I'm like, shit, man, I can't win. And Tom Brooks left a comment here. It said, that's not what she asked. Talking about the Conway comment, she asked if Burrow was going to start. That was awkward phrasing. That's why Taylor was shocked by the question. Of course you start Joe. I didn't necessarily take it that way, but I think that could have been what she was asking, and maybe she just asked it wrong. And then Huday Winger says, I think Burrow looks great at practice because he knows no one is hitting him. He gets rushed and he protects himself. It's all with confidence. And that's kind of what I said on Twitter today. I said, somebody posted a video and, he's moving around, he's throwing deep shots, and it all looks good. But I said, okay, that's fine. I've seen those videos before. Send Trey Hendrickson running at him. Then tell me how it looks. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, it's different. And then he also says that the porn bots are going to come for you now. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I just get assaulted by porn bots. And it's another episode. It's another day. And Roxy, I'm still not interested.
And yours is named Roxy?
Dude, it's Roxy or Rossi. She just finds different variations. I have legitimately like 100 accounts blocked of this. The picture is of the same woman, and she looks like Billie Eilish if she chose meth instead of singing or whatever Billie Eilish does. It's just not good.
Do you get like the group chat like message requests on there too?
Not on Twitter anymore. I used to. I get a lot of them on Instagram now,
Instagram is bad, but yeah, the porn
and
bots
like
we
the
have
hidden
are
requests
terrible.
for her.
With all of Elon's, cleaning up the timeline, he's not doing a great job in the notifications.
That's what I keep. I keep tagging Elon, just hoping maybe he'll see it because I gave him his $8 for the check mark. Maybe it'll pop up in his feeds.
You hope. You gotta subscribe, and then he'll see you.
Maybe. Darth Bengal says, "Stay away from Roxy. She's my dog. You can have her, but you can have her. But all I'm saying is get her in check because she won't leave me alone. It's always
Come
like
get your girl, Darth. Come get your
always
girl.
like it's always like you up for something? You bored? It's like no, I'm bitching about the Bengals right now. Like I don't want to see your gross boobs. Like get the fuck out of here. Now my mic's falling. This thing's going to shit.
Hey, we're only 20 minutes in. We got time. We got time to recover.
Or we got time for it to get worse. That's usually how this show goes.
That's true. That's how this season feels.
Yeah. Pros and cons trademark. Parker knows. What does that mean?
Oh, we 17's a big spaces guy. We've had our chats with pros and cons. There's a restaurant idea that I'll have to pitch you later, Drew.
Oh yeah, we can't put that out on the internet early.
Yeah, I don't want to get taken away yet. Yeah, we gotta save that one.
Trying to fix the mic and am just making it worse. So welcome to this shit show. Now back to football, back to the Bengals. There we go. Look at that. I fucking fixed it.
Look at you go.
Back to the Bengals. When we look at the offensive line, your area of expertise, you look like you could start in the NFL right now. You got the hair, you got the beard, it's red. You look like Cody Mouch with teeth.
I know. I wish we were related. I really do. He looks like a great guy.
Oh, dude, he deletes ice cold Coors Lights. I guarantee
you. Already know.
Makes him disappear.
He's 30 racks for breakfast, bro. That's all it is.
What does this mean? What does this mean? Drew looks like the infomercial people before they try to solve a problem you don't have. What does that mean?
Drew Garrison for Flex Seal? Is that what it is right now?
Hey, Phil Swift really makes me believe in the Flex Seal family of products. Free ad. He makes me believe. I don't know what that means, but is it my lighting? Because I usually rely on some natural light from the window here, but it's dark in Ohio and raining, so I got to put all these extra light. I don't know what that means. And Victoria, my lovely fiance, says, I was just about to say Parker looks like Cody. And the reason she knows who Cody Mouch is because I was Cody Mouch or bust all draft season, and unfortunately we didn't get him. But Andrew, I'd really like clarity on that comment because that's fucking hilarious. I just wish I knew what it meant.
Man.
Anyway, football, right? That's why we're here.
Sports ball.
Bengals offensive line. Is there anybody on the Cardinals offensive line that concerns you as a pass rusher?
Well, hold on. We're looking at the Cardinals offensive or defensive line?
So I'm saying the Cardinals defensive line.
Cardinals defensive line.
Who do you think could
honestly,
cause problems?
I'm not too familiar, which makes me feel good coming in. I know. I mean, every one of these teams has dudes. There's actually a guy I played with in high school for a year who plays for the Cardinals, which is another plus to going to the game. We'll be able to watch him get his ass kicked, hopefully all day. But no, off the top of my head, Jared's gonna murder me for this. I know he is because he's the draft guy. Funny enough,
draft guy Jared.
Pun intended. Yes, he's that. But I can't. No one immediately comes to mind that I'm concerned about with this defensive line. I feel like they should be able to handle it, man. But I've said that a couple times this season, and it hasn't been amazingly true.
So that makes me feel better because there's, oh shit, we got to worry about Jeff Simmons. Oh shit, we got to worry about Aaron Donald. Oh shit, we got to worry about Myles Garrett. Oh shit, we got to worry about Zadarius Smith. Oh shit, we got to worry about I can't think of the guy on Baltimore, but they got a good front too.
Well, they
So
got
maybe
Oway. They got some dudes over there.
we got action in the chat. Some dude asking my fiance where she works. What are you guys doing? Anyway.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, that's right. I have to plug for Jared. He's a big Dante Stills guy. He's not a starter, but Jared loved him coming out. He wears number 55 for the Cardinals. So when that guy's in, Jared's rooting for the Cardinals. That's all I'm saying.
Jared's rooting for the Cardinals. He loves them that much.
You heard it here first. He's not here to defend himself, so I'll say whatever I want.
I like Jared. I like Jared a lot. But I can't. He can't be switching sides like that. But so into 55, we'll watch out for 55. Chandler Jones' old number. Hopefully everything's good in Chandler Jones' world. We're gonna stay away from that.
That's
so
a good idea.
Maybe this could be a get-right game for the Bengals offensive line. There's no stud on the other side. There's no guy that we're all concerned about hitting Burrow. Maybe this is like a game where they get right, and we can start to see, like we saw last year, you get to week 5, week 6, the offensive line gets a little bit more cohesive. They start to gel a little bit more. And then they go on a 10-game run last year where the offensive line and the protection looked great until, unfortunately the injury bug hit. Kappa, Collins, things like that. So maybe this is the get right game where they really kind of get things on track and they can build off of it. That's going to be the hope for me. Now, it's not looking good for T. Higgins. He said he was going to try to play. It's a pain tolerance thing with the rib fracture. He didn't practice yesterday. I didn't see the injury report yet today. So it's probably going to be I think it's going to be another heavy dose of Jamar Chase. So if they can protect Burrow, he can get the ball out to Chase. I want to see a go ball, man. I need to see a go ball connect because last year that was almost like, that was almost like the fuck it, Jamar's down there somewhere play to get things going where Burrow would just drop back and just let it fly. And I felt like it was like a 60-40 completion to incompletion last year. So I really want to see that come back. The comment section is just going crazy right now. They're having a conversation about work and then the burger wagon.
Burger wagon. I'm interested in a burger wagon. Hold on. Who the hell?
Man, no. Hey! I'm in Dayton right now. Actually, I'm in Miamisburg, where the hamburger wagon is. I'm gonna learn you something, Parker. Next time you come to town for a game, you're coming up about 45 minutes north to where I live, and I'm going to take you to the hamburger wagon that's been in the center of Miamisburg, Ohio since 1913.
Oh.
And we're going to teach you about some hamburgers.
I've already been educated. I'm excited to be fooducated.
On me, cash only. I say no free ads. Hamburger wagon, free ad.
Earned a free ad today.
Troy McAdams says, hopefully they practice picking up blitzes. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to see. And that's something I feel like the Bengals offense has struggled with since Frank Pollock came back to town, is picking up blitz and stunts.
Yep.
I think that's been – would you say that's accurate? I know you watch every snap of every offensive line ever.
I sure do. So I talked about that all offseason. I said, if I'm a defense planning for this Bengals team, whether it's week 1 or I don't say week 18, it's the same team. Week 17, we're in the playoffs. I'm coming at this line with a bunch of games, a bunch of blitzes, a bunch of weird stuff. Everyone's obviously good at picking up the straight up blitzes like 95% of the time in the league. They're looking for the exotic things. And I think they actually handle stunts for the most part really well, a lot better than I thought they would. They was a little rough at the beginning of the year. But especially this Titans game, it looked great. It's just, the weird blitzes, miscommunications. There was that one bad one by Kappa, and Volson got beat, and we had 3 free rushers, and we should have only had 1, and he should have been the hot, but then you can argue and say that he should have thrown the hot, but blitzes are going to be a big thing. I'm glad we don't play Wink Martindale anytime soon, but I don't think the Cardinals don't do anything crazy like that as far as I've seen. Someone's more than welcome to prove me wrong, but I wouldn't expect anything crazy exotic from them, especially coming off a game against the Titans. This should be easy either way.
Troy says no shitting on Volson.
I would never.
We love.
I almost wore my Bolson. I'm wearing my Bolson jersey on Sunday. All right, relax.
I think he's probably talking to me because I said on the last episode that I'm trying not to shit on the guy, but we also got to stop making excuses and say, "Oh, it was Jeff Simmons. Oh, it was Aaron Donald. Oh, it was Casey Hayward." No, man, you're an NFL offensive lineman, and I said that to as a reply to one of your tweets.
Yes,
so lots of
Where
pressure
I
up the
accidentally
middle
called him a
last
rookie.
week. Yeah,
I don't know anything.
It's all right. It's all right. Look, man, you're in the film in the trenches all day. You're gonna slip up every now and then. I say dumb shit on the internet every single day of my life, so it's fine.
But you're good at it. People enjoy your dumb shit. I just get told that I'm
Jonah
Williams' best friend. That's what I like. Oh, you...
people tell me I look like Jonah Williams.
That's a compliment. You told me I look like a toothless
Is it?
guy, so I mean,
a toothless guy with teeth.
You did say with teeth. You did say with teeth.
So you're like an improved version. Kevin says, hot take, they brought the cat in the building for Joe's emotional support animal, and Joe Shiesty will be
Can we talk about that video? What was that about?
There was some cat content coming out of Cincinnati, and I saw it. I think I saw it first on TikTok, and it was just like, hey, just in case you've been going through it, and it's just a cat.
That was the weirdest
on the field.
I watched the whole video because I expected something to happen, and it was just a cat on the field. Just a cat.
just some wholesome cat content for people. Maybe Burrow's a cat guy, not a dog guy, and that kind of gets him recentered, and things start flowing. You never know.
You never know what's going on in the brain of an S guy. You never know.
Kevin's on one. He says Joe's a big pussy cat guy. This shows.
I'm sorry, Rob.
This shows something. So we're at the 30-minute mark. So we've made it this far. YouTube hasn't hopped in and shut the stream down just quite yet. So I think we're doing all right.
We've talked some football.
Yeah, we've talked some football. But when you say
content with the Burger Wagon, so I mean, covered my.
Well, I want to come back to that because you said who wants to tailgate in Dayton?
Yeah.
What is going on with this is. Well, he also says, make sure Parker shows he owes me a hug. You owe 17 son a hug?
Apparently. Everyone says that I give good hugs, Drew.
You gave me a hug when we finally met in person before the Baltimore game, and it was a solid hug.
I'm a fat guy.
Not too firm.
Hugs. What can I say?
It's not too firm to where I feel like I'm being squeezed, but it wasn't too loose like you didn't care. It was a good bro embrace. It was a good bro
solid.
hug. But when he's talking about the shout out football. When he's talking about the Dayton watch party, we're tentatively putting something together for the San Francisco game. We've got a couple locations involved. I talked to one today that looks really, really, really cool. So for the people that are in the Dayton area, you can come watch a game with me and Ron. Parker, you're invited. How long's the flight from Utah? It's not long.
It's 3 hours to Covington or whatever actual city that airport's in.
Easy. I'll pick you up in the van. Behind this $11 Amazon backdrop is a couch. You can sleep on it. We'll drink beer. Maybe we can get the hamburger wagon up there and we'll just have a day. So yeah, if you're interested in coming to watch the game with us, stay tuned. It's going to be, we're going to do it somewhere. We just got to figure out exactly where. And then fiance is asking the hard hitting question. The important thing is the Wilson's baby, a boy or girl? I said fiance, not Beyonce, didn't I? I got the old nicotine pouch right here in the lip. It's kind of trips me up sometimes.
Back her in there.
She says, is it a boy or a girl? And then Kevin hits back and says, they know, but they haven't let the public know the gender yet. And she said, oh, I know. I stalk Morgan religiously. And it's kind of a problem. She's very invested, but we had a chance to meet Logan and Morgan at the first Star Draft party last year, talk to them about their charity foundation. Hits home for us for a certain reason. Very, very nice people. So yeah, we're very invested. We're hoping for probably second generation linebacker. Because I mean, if your dad's a linebacker and you're born, you're going to be a linebacker.
Quite a ways.
And then Cody says, yo, where in Dayton? We're going to be looking at probably a suburb of Dayton. We're looking at the south side area closer to like Miamisburg, West Carrollton, Springboro area. If you know where that is, we haven't confirmed anything yet, but that should be on the way. We're going to do a live show from this place too. Um, and I might be drunk, so we don't know how that's going to go.
Who's to say? Who's to say?
Well, at either place, there's a good chance I drink a good amount of beer. So
I do
yeah,
have to.
there's stuff like that coming.
I do have to shout out your fiance because I have low hope, low faith that you delivered the message. But thank you for the 2 interception game. That was all because of you. I hope you wear that.
It absolutely was. She was feeling herself too. I mean, she's brushing her shoulders off and shit in the stands. You know, yeah, she was getting into it. She called the first Logan Wilson pick, and I'm like, all right, she called it, and then she like halfway called a second one. So yeah, it was.
So she's live betting games now, is what I'm hearing.
Dude, I bet. Okay. I get my ass well. I mean, I've been taking a bath on the NFL this season, but I'll be watching the game, sweating out a bet, like, I need this guy to get 10 more yards, blah blah blah. She puts in like a $2 bet on a 9-leg parlay that's just ridiculous, and she is the most high-strung individual I've ever watched sweat out a bet. We're sitting here on the couch, and she is just flipping shit because there was like an incompletion on second down. I'm like, whoa, relax. She's a high-strung bettor.
When I was sports,
back to,
I used to get my wife involved. Like, oh, I'm on these games. What we're looking for, and I had to stop doing that because she would freak out. She's like, "Oh, I'm like, honey, it is the second quarter. We're just like 15 minutes, 14 minutes left in the second quarter. We got time. We got time. Don't you worry."
Cody says, "Let's go. I'm in Middletown. I would love to get a beer with all of y'all." So yeah, it's going to be a fairly close drive from Middletown. Back to the Bengals. Troy McAdams has a question. Thoughts on Dax Hill? I think he's been impressive thus far. I had my doubts, to be honest. I think a lot of people were hesitant about Dax Hill, especially when the pick was made. But he's been a lightning rod, man. I think he's been the best defensive back. Oh my God, my lights are going to shit. If anybody wants to sponsor this shit show and help me get some better lights, we're in. I think that Dax has been dynamic off the ball. I think that he's covered well. And I think that he's the perfect Swiss Army knife for Lou Anarumo. So I think that he's replacing Jesse Bates pretty well. He's not performing like Bates is in Atlanta. Bates is going ape shit, and that's awesome. I'll root for Jesse Bates as long as he's not playing the Bengals. But I think that he's been everything that we could hope he could be up to this point. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I think he's not as twitchy yet. I mean, he's still very young in the league. Jesse Bates is a high-level player. I think you got to give him his flowers. But I mean, I think this whole defensive backfield is very versatile. I just think they need to come together. They still need to. We talked about the O-line gelling all season last year. I mean, this defensive backfield needs to gel. You got CTB, who was a rookie. You got Dax Hill, who was a rookie that didn't really play much last year. And you got Nick Scott, who's brand new to the team. You got Jordan Battle, who's a rookie currently that's getting involved a little bit, and Cheeto, who's coming off of the ACL. I mean, you got a lot of random pieces kind of thrown in there. I think Dax Hill has been the bright spot of the group. I don't expect that to stay the same. I mean that in the best way possible because I think everyone else is going to elevate, and he's kind of the core of this defensive backfield right now.
I am ready to have a Nick Scott conversation. I said since Jordan Battle was drafted that I thought he would be the starter after the bye week. And I think we may be getting closer to that. Nick Scott had 10 tackles last week. That's great, but he also had some coverage lapses that I've seen throughout the season. I might be getting close to Jordan Battle season. But to answer the question, Dax is the bright spot of the defensive backfield so far, and I think that he will only get better. And that is not me being a Michigan homer.
Yes, it is.
Me being a Michigan homer is saying that Brad Robbins looked damn good last week.
We love a high quality.
When you punt the ball,
it looked a little rough there. That takeoff was shaky.
Yeah. Kevin says, Parker, question, do you like sleep? If so, don't stay at Drew's house. His little girl likes to stay up late all night and throw ragers. Still, this transition to toddler bed is still a little bit rough. She had mom up till like 4:00 in the morning last night. Now, if she's up again, I'm up tonight. And she went to bed at like 7 o'clock because she didn't take a nap today. So I might be fucked. So that's a good point. And then whoever this random individual with the Niners picture is says Derek Carr.
Derek Dar.
Very happy for you. Very happy for you. Congratulations on that. So we're getting to the 40-minute mark. Let's close this thing out. This has definitely been the worst show ever, and that is by no means your fault, Parker. You have actually been the bright spot. I have just I've kind of been a shit show tonight.
Difficulties, which is always anticipated, I think, at this point. I enjoy it. It's a good bit. I think you should keep it going. I think even if you get like, your $1 million sponsorship here in a couple weeks, you should really just keep a low quality something, whether it's a light, the mic, a camera. So you can still mess it up. Just throw pieces around every now and then. You're like, oh man, I like it. It's a good shtick.
Well, my camera's good. My mic's good. Shout out to Chatterbox Sports, actually, where you do Chatterbox Bengals. I actually hit up Nick Kirby, Chatterbox Reds guy, and I'm like, dude, you guys' cameras look so good. What do you have? And he sent it to me, and I was like, do I want to spend $500 on a camera? And I wrestled with it. I looked at it. It was on sale for $400 one day, so I bought it, and I just figured out how to use it. It still looked like shit up until like last show, until I finally figured it out. So I'm getting better. We're getting there.
I'm going to ask you about your camera.
Troy says, one more question and I'll shut up. We cannot and will not lose to Joshua Dobbs. First and foremost, Troy, you do not have to shut up. We love comments from the chat. We love answering questions from the chat. And we love interacting with you guys as much as we can. But yeah, dude, can you imagine logging on to Twitter, LX.com, if the Bengals lose to Joshua Dobbs?
I was talking to somebody, I think it was yesterday, and I said, if the Bengals somehow find a way to lose this week, I'm deleting the app and only downloading it to post my content and then deleting it again. I can't handle it anymore. I can't do it anymore.
Dude, you see the shit I get on there just for existing. like I could make a tweet about like, I just had a cup of coffee and somebody like, oh yeah, I bet you use like 4 cups of sugar, you fat fuck. I'm like, okay, sorry guys.
I'm just saying, if you're the resident fat guy on Bengals Twitter, I don't want anyone else to meet me live. That's all I'm saying.
So I'm saying, I'm not in shape, but like, I'm not like bulging either, but yeah, it gets rough on there. But dude, I cannot imagine the Sunday night scroll through Twitter with a loss to Joshua Dobbs on the record, dude. That is dark, dark days.
My wife and I really do enjoy your Drew reads mean tweets videos, though. I have to let you know. Props to those. We love those every week.
I haven't had any good ones. I haven't had any video worthy lately. I think it's usually like the Chiefs fans and the Ravens fans. The Browns fans came at me pretty good, but like there's only like 300 Rams fans in the world anyway, so they weren't finding me. And then I didn't get any.
53 of them play for the team.
Say that again?
And 53 of them play for the team.
Yeah. And some of them, I'm not sure how much they even like it. Mortal lock of the weekend. I like this question from Cody Phelps. Well, Houday Winger says it's been fun. That's all that matters. We appreciate that. And as true dumbass for him, I clicked the wrong comment. Cody says, mortal lock of the weekend, Chase Anytime TD. And if you follow me on Twitter, I've been saying this for a couple days. I cannot shake the feeling that Drew Sample scores a touchdown Sunday. I don't know why. I don't know what made me do it. I feel something deep in my soul, in my subcockle area. I think that's what it's called. Not penis. Subcockle is stomach. I'm not a doctor. Yeah. I think somewhere deep in my bone. God, this is terrible. I'm so bad. I just can't shake the feeling that Drew Sample gets a touchdown Sunday. I don't know why. I don't know if it'll be from like the fullback spot that he's been playing. I don't know if he'll catch a 2-yard pass from Burrow. I'm just saying I'm betting a Drew Sample touchdown. This is not betting advice. If you've seen my bets for this year, you probably shouldn't take my betting advice. But if Drew Sample scores a touchdown, I'm going to be letting everybody know that I've been saying it since like Tuesday.
I love that because I've just felt the last couple of weeks, not early in the year, but the last couple of weeks, he's on to something. They like what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
They like what he's doing.
That little $1.2 million contract, he's outperforming it. Shout out Willie Lutz for saying that.
Give my man enough money and he'll be motivated to go play like a $5 million guy. However,
he worked out. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
He worked out for the Cardinals this offseason and they didn't sign him. Is this a Drew Sample revenge game?
Count it. Book it. Book it.
Book
ATD,
it.
Drew Sample.
Drew Sample, anytime touchdown. One more comment that I
You-
think is really, really good.
You got to get to that one.
And then we'll do score predictions, and I'll let you get out of here and go enjoy time with your family and your reptile. Lizard or gecko?
Gecko. It's a good, and don't call it a
Gecko.
lizard. She gets very upset. It's a gecko.
Look, I've met her in person. She's a very nice woman. I don't want to upset her. Pick your best starting 5 O linemen from Bengals Twitter and social media personalities. A comment from Andrew Gordon. I think that is so good. So
you're starting, right?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm putting you at left guard.
I don't think I've ever. I'm down for some left guard. I'll be the Volson of this group.
All right. So who's next? Who do you got? Who's
That's what I was
the
trying to
left
think.
tackle from Bengals Twitter?
Left tackle's got to be like.
This is good.
Left tackle's got to be like Dale. Dale's a big dude.
Dale Altman. Shout out to Dale.
Yeah.
I could see Dale holding the edge down and putting a guy on his ass if he's trying to rush Bengals Twitter quarterback Joe Goodberry.
Yeah.
We'll put Goodberry at quarterback. But yes, that's great. So we've got left tackle Dale Altman, left guard Parker Blake, and Darth Bengal with a great point. Uh-oh. There we go. Santori Miles to play center. Santori is a fucking hilarious human, but I could see him holding down the middle of the offensive line. So I think that I'm gonna take Darth Bengal's suggestion. I'm gonna put Santori Miles at center. So now we've got to get a right guard. Who's the Bengals Twitter right guard?
I have a right tackle in mind, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of a right because you got to have a guy that moves, that can move a little bit. A guy that can move a little bit. I'm starting to realize how skinny Bengals Twitter is as I'm going through this in my mind, to be honest.
Am I not big enough to play O-line?
I was going to put you at center. I kind of liked you as a center.
I pulled as a guard when I was playing in junior high.
Well, we'll put you a guard then. I don't know your athletic capability here, but if you want to play guard, let's throw you a guard because we got that connection. We can connect at the guard level, man. Pass off those long stunts. We got this.
Okay, so I'm playing right guard, and then so the right side's probably going to get fucking killed. But right tackle, Bengals Twitter right tackle. She's laughing at me. Says junior high with laughing emojis. Yeah, when they said 2 days in high school, I was like, I'm out. Oh, you're gonna do this. Okay, no. So okay.
Oh no.
I hurt my shoulder in flag football. Don't do it. I still have the bump right here. That was as an adult man. I was asked to play flag football. This is years ago, and I got put at corner. Bad decision. I was already pretty much out of shape. I was smoking like a pack of cigarettes a day. And yeah, dude, like first route, this dude dusts me, just fucking burns me. So I'm trying to chase after him. I trip, bam, right on my shoulder, separate the AC joint.
That hurts.
Too cheap for an ambulance. I didn't need an ambulance. So I'm driving to the hospital, slumped over, smoking a cigarette in my car. And they had to I was in a sling for a while. So thanks for bringing that up and embarrassing me. She does not want this show to do well. She does not want this to grow. And then Kevin makes a good point. I'm sorry to steal the chat suggestions, but we're going to put Bengal Jim at right tackle. All right. And we're going to run that line out against anybody in the league, and we're going to shut shit down.
I'm here for it.
Andrew, that was a phenomenal comment. Send me a DM on Twitter because I'm going to clip this and I want to give you proper credit. That was fucking awesome.
We just built the close this thing line right there. So we're money. We're set.
Yeah. Pro Bowls, all 5. All right. I'm gonna let you get out of here. Score prediction for Sunday.
It's gonna be close, man. I'm not saying that selfishly because I want to watch a good game. I'd like to watch a blowout win. Watched one in Vegas a couple of years ago. Oh man, I was way off last time, so now I got the pressure. The pressure's built. I'm calling it. What's the line? What's the spread on this game, Drew?
I believe it's at 3. It started out the Bengals were giving up 4.5, but it's moved to 3.
I think the Cardinals can cover, man. I think it's a 3-point game. I want to say 27-24, Evan McPherson walk-off winner to get the Bengals right.
Okay. 27-24. I'm actually going 24-21, so I'm going with the Cardinals covering too. I think the offense is still going to have some stuff to figure out, some things to work through. I think the defense might be on the field a little bit more than we like, so it might be closer. But the Bengals do get the win 24-21. 17 cents says, good stream, fellas. Keep up the fun. Who Day. We appreciate it. Darth Bengal says 27-21 Bengals, so he doesn't have the Cardinals covering. Parker, I appreciate you stepping in, man. You were the first person that I asked. 31-13 kicking ass from 17 Sons. I would love to see it. I appreciate you stepping in when Ron's out doing like save the world stuff or whatever the hell
Being
he's
a
up
Power
to.
Ranger or
Stepping in on short notice. Yeah, Power Ranger, whatever he's doing. You were the first person I asked. I appreciate you being willing to do it, man. We'd love to have you back on to talk more O-line down the line. I appreciate your time. If you listen to this show, we appreciate your time. And please try to find something better to do with your time. But I'm going to end it on a Who Day. You got one for me, Parker?
Who Day, baby.